Jabronis, rope breakers all over the world, welcome to React, live on Google Hangouts and on YouTube with AuSSy and Matt. Alec is taking a brief sabbatical. He will return soon. We miss you already, Alec.
He was, he was taken by the Wyatts. He's at the
Yep.
Wyatt compound right now.
And before we get started here, as always, this is going to be about a half an hour show, so we'll hang around with you guys till 11:45. We welcome you to join in on the conversation with Matt and myself. You always have a voice with us. Comment on the YouTube page. Comment or tweet us, rather, at Rope Break Wrestling. It's right here in front of you on your screen, and I will make sure that your voice gets heard and maybe get you some extra followers here if you're tweeting us on Twitter. So without further ado, let's get right into things. Matt, what are you thinking about the ending of Monday Night Raw? We know that you thought last week's was regurgitated. Are you thinking more of the same here? Give me your thoughts.
Not all right. It was definitely a little bit regurgitated. Not as bad as last week, though. I gotta admit, there wasn't a cash in. I'm wondering, and not to segue really quickly to Rollins seemingly getting possibly injured, hurting his knee, doctors over by him. So who knows? There could have been a cash-in plan, but obviously him getting hurt, that might have changed the plans a little bit and altered the ending. Who knows? That's something to look for. But not having him cash in, not having Ambrose run in, definitely not the same as last week. Still felt a little bit, Reigns standing tall, but that's understandable. He's the guy they're trying to build, whether you like him or not. He's the guy that they want to get over. So it's understandable if that's the guy that's going to be reigning supreme.
No pun intended.
No, pun definitely intended. But no, I thought the ending wasn't too bad. It was definitely more tolerable than last week and the week before with the same, just repetitive. Same guys. I didn't think it was the greatest ending, but, they have to kind of get all of these guys over, and they have a certain amount of time, so you have to try to give it. So I give them a little bit of leeway where that's concerned, but not so bad. What'd you think about the ending?
I didn't think it was bad at all. As expected. Once again, it's a go home episode of Raw, right. So as far as my philosophy goes, and I feel like I am maybe traditional or old school in the sense, which on most topics I'm not at all. I think the go home episode should, well, back in the day, at least before the WWE Network, I say back in the day, I mean it wasn't even a year ago when we were still doing this stuff without the WWE Network, but the go home episode is what basically made the universe decide, hey, is this worth buying on Sunday? Is this worth, scrapping up $45, $50 worth, is it worth it? And I think since they've gone to the network, there's not as much urgency there to put out a really big bang at the end because, quite frankly, they've got their subscribers. I mean, you would think they'd want to keep putting out that big bang just to get more people, on the network, but it doesn't seem that way to me. There doesn't seem to be that same sense of urgency that there was before, but I liked the ending tonight. I had no issue with it. I did like Orton standing tall there for a bit before Reigns, but the fact that Reigns stands tall, I mean, we go back to traditional booking. Does that mean that he's not winning the title?
Yep, I feel the same way. Yeah, that I can't see him winning the title, so I think that. But yeah, like you said though, does he win, or they're not gonna? I don't think they're gonna bury him this soon and have him completely lose. But there are rumors saying that they're looking to put him in some sort of big rivalry, so maybe it will be against Orton. But to add even more confusion to the story, what the hell happened with Orton? Wait, was that a face turn? Was that a heel? Is he still a heel? Kane's a pretty big heel right now, and he RKO'd him. Are they going to keep him a heel? So I think that aspect going into a pay-per-view was a little bit confusing. I think if they had done that last week and then continued to build him as a heel this week, it wouldn't be as confusing because now people are going to want to cheer him And if that's not the way they're trying to build him, it's just going to get really confusing. So I think going into a pay-per-view, that may not have been the best choice to have him RKO Kane. I get they're going with that kind of dissension type thing. They're kind of breaking up the team, some holes in the authority. But like I said, last week I think would have been the better opportunity, instead of recycling the week prior's ending, having Orton RKO Kane, and then you have this week to continue to build him as a heel, so there's not that confusion of, wait a minute, is he a babyface? Because he got a pretty good pop when he did that.
Right.
So now it's confusing, and then Reigns spearing him, it just is a whole mess of confusion.
Well, it goes back to what we discussed on last week's episode of Rope Break Radio. As far as that line, the thin line between babyface and heel, and a while back they had discussed getting rid of it. I can see Vince right now. Damn it, we're done with heels and babyfaces. Everybody's a tweener. But it seems like that's what they're doing with Roman Reigns. He's like, you can't boo him, you can't cheer him. From my standpoint, I like what they're doing with him no matter what, as far as it goes right now. But if you're a child, imagine if you're a John Cena fan. You were a diehard Roman Reigns fan too, because he's a bigger than life, nice dad. What I say last time, he's a good dad. He's muscular. He's a hero. He's Samoan. He's got everything going for him. All the freaking Cena fans love him too. And then now he's going to do this to Cena? Oh my God.
Yep.
Now I don't know what to do if I'm a Cena fan. Do I cheer for Reigns, this new guy, or do I keep going with the same old shit? Basically all I've ever known. We'll have to ask Nick the Cena fan about that, because I know he's also a Roman Reigns fan. So we'll see where his true loyalty lies there. But going back to the whole point here, like I said before, for those of us that are no longer John Cena fans, or we may be sick of seeing what John Cena's been doing, you instantly get a pop from us when you've got a guy like Roman Reigns kind of just disregarding everything John Cena says. And then at the same time, he's not full-blown heel because he's still beating up on Kane or in the Authority. So he's kind of almost like that. And I hate to make this comparison, so don't take it the wrong way. But he's kind of like that Austin figure where if you can remember, they would have, or even The Rock, to be honest with you. We'll just keep the Samoan people going together. But do you remember The Rock and Austin were those types of characters that didn't want help from anybody else? When they matched those two up, they always played it off like, well, hell, son, I don't care if The Rock shows up or not. I'm going to whip somebody's ass, and that's the bottom line. As far as it goes,
no, exactly. Nope.
That's the feel I get from it.
Right.
Let's put it that way. And I'm interested to know what you guys think. We've got a few of you guys weighing in on the YouTube page. And, of course, you can follow us on Twitter at Rope Break Wrestling and join in the conversation there. Let us know what you think about Reigns' in-between status, his tweener status. Right now, we've got a couple people weighing in. Aaron Mason asks, you guys got a public hangout going? And I responded to him on the page saying, and this is for everybody, we will be offering the hangout to the public tomorrow night on our episode of Rope Break Radio. I'm not sure if Alec's going to join us, but it will at least be Matt and myself. We'll try and get Alec on there as well. We're going to run it right before main event, so the hour before main event on the East Coast, so 7 p.m. Eastern. And we will give you guys an option, or the opportunity rather, to join us via Hangout. Ask your question live on the air. Get your voice heard. Get your face seen. You Rudy Poo candy asses. But right now, Berkeley Pierre weighing in saying, I'm still a Cena fan. Nobody asked you, Berkeley. Quite frankly. Just kidding. And Aaron Mason also saying, Nick referring to Nick the Cena fan, must be going crazy. We will definitely get a comment from the Cena fan on that, and we'll get back to you guys on that one. But let's move into the next subject. And by the way, this is an open forum here, so if you guys really want us to talk about anything in particular from tonight's episode, please let us know by commenting right below on the YouTube page. But right now, I'm Passion weighing in on YouTube, a return viewer. Thanks again for tuning in. Says that opening promo was good, and I definitely wanted to touch on this subject with you. Really, the thing that's sticking out in my mind, it's almost blurring the rest of it, is the Dean Ambrose promo. I mean,
Yeah.
Essentially stealing the opening segment, really. What are your thoughts on that?
I completely agree. I didn't think Roman Reigns' promo was bad at all.
No, not at all.
My gripe with it, my only thing, is it wasn't really creative. I'll give him some leeway. He's still new. He's still trying to work his way up, but he kind of just repeated what Cena said at the end. That was really his promo. So, I mean, not to take too much away from him, because I know he's working on it, and it was better than most of his promos lately. So I'll give him some credit, but yeah, the Dean Ambrose promo absolutely kind of overshadowed it. But that's going to happen. I mean, there's not many people that can out-talk a guy like Dean Ambrose. That's just what he does. But I thought the whole, segueing quickly into the whole segment as a whole, the opening segment I thought was awesome. That was a great way to start Raw. They kind of went old school, going backstage, which they haven't done it forever. I got excited. I'm like, holy shit, they're backstage. Who would have thunk it?
Right.
They're ganging up on Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose said, after getting the crap beaten at him, probably my favorite line I've heard in a long time. It was like, "What is that? All you got?" I thought that was perfect. Perfect. Fit his character. Awesome moment. Great overall segment to open the show and got me really pumped to see what was coming. But yeah, definitely got overshadowed by the Ambrose promo. But,
yeah, and go ahead and finish.
I was just going to say the promo was good, though. It was definitely good.
Yeah, okay, well, I totally obviously agree. I made the original statement, but I'm, agreeing in agreement with what you had to say, piggybacking off that as well. Really think by far, bar none, I don't think there's really an argument right now that, with maybe the exception of Jericho, I honestly think Dean Ambrose is the best talker in the game, and I know that Bray Wyatt is, widely regarded as the best talker, but here's the difference. Bray Wyatt has a character. Be it I love that character. He does a great job playing it. It's an excellent character. But I believe, in my honest opinion, it's a little bit easier when you've got a character. You can get into, and that's not to say that Dean Ambrose doesn't have a character, but I should say a gimmick. Dean Ambrose is more that personality times 100, as to where Bray Wyatt is a totally separate gimmick, obviously, from what he is. I think it's a little bit easier. Bray Wyatt can get a theme behind his promos and just ramble on, and we even heard the crowd chanting "boring" today, which we will touch on, because I know that had to be a hot topic for Matt. I honestly, when I saw that, or when I heard them chanting "boring," I could see Matt fuming. But we'll get into that. But I think Ambrose honestly is the best talker. If he was given as much mic time as Bray Wyatt at this point, I think he would be the better talker. But as far as it overshadowing, I thought Cena and Reigns did a good job. The whole opening segment was really good. So I think we're in agreement on Passion on YouTube. I think we're all in agreement that it was a pretty good segment there. Now, it looks like our fans want us to weigh in. Robert Lucas, who is a frequenter on our Facebook page. What's going on, Rob? He is tuning in, and he asks, what's up with Heyman? And Berkeley Pierre was quick to announce Brock Lesnar is Plan C. Heyman said it. You know what? I hate to be this guy. I really hate to be this guy, because I don't want to be this guy. But Who the hell said it on our Facebook page? Was it our main man Brandon Manuel that said CM Punk is Plan C?
It might have been. I was actually getting ready to post that.
Oh my
But
God!
I
I'm
also
sorry.
didn't. I didn't want to be that guy either.
Listen, I know it's been months upon months and everybody loves it seems to be like there's these IWC hipsters out there that act like they don't want CM Punk to return.
Yep, yep.
There's a couple on our page for sure that are all, he's not coming back, guys. Just deal with it. Like it's
Yep.
supposed to hurt my feelings or something. Um,
Hurts my
no,
feelings.
it's still interesting to talk about the what ifs. And
Exactly.
it
That's
almost seems like everybody is expecting Brock Lesnar to come back and do what he's going to do to Cena, set up that match. But wouldn't it be interesting to see CM Punk? Everybody's expecting Brock Lesnar, and then CM Punk, his music hits. Don't tell me every effing one of those people that say he's not coming back, bro. He's never coming back. Blah blah blah. He's starting a podcast. Apparently that means you can't wrestle anymore.
I
Somebody
don't think
tell
they
Chris Jericho.
realize. I don't think they realize Jericho also does a podcast.
Exactly.
Well, you
Exactly.
can do more than one thing. You can multitask. It is possible. But yeah, no, I agree with you. Not to cut you off, but yeah, I was ready to post that on Facebook, but I'm like, oh, do I want to be this guy? Do I want to be the guy who constantly keeps saying CM Punk's coming back? It's possible. Plan C. That's the first thing that came to my mind.
Well,
I feel like
here's the
obviously.
thing and just a brief interjection, and I'll let you finish up. But here's the thing is, I don't think any of us want to be snuck up on. I don't want to be that guy that finally gives in and goes, "Oh yeah, maybe they're right. Maybe he's not coming back," and then like all of a sudden here he comes,
Yeah.
because I
No,
feel like a fool. You know what I mean?
I agree. Well, I mean, I get we can't really feel too much like a fool after that Brock Lesnar Undertaker prediction.
Oh Jesus!
that was pretty bad.
And in what he's talking about, if you haven't seen it, just to publicly humiliate ourselves, if you go on to if you go onto our YouTube page, which you're already basically there, just click the link below. And if you're not subscribed, not sure what the hell you're even doing here watching, but if you go and take a look at our WrestleMania 30 predictions, before most of you guys were even rope breakers, we did do a WrestleMania 30 prediction show, and we all across the board are not only selected Brock Lesnar to lose the match, but I went as far as to say, if you actually think Brock Lesnar is beating The Undertaker, then I seriously question your knowledge of life. Not wrestling, life. And boy, did I look like an absolute jackass. I think more people everybody was upset about The Undertaker and the streak being over. I was upset about looking like a jackass. like like Rudy Poo candy ass. But let's get into a couple more topics here before we jump off. We don't like to keep you guys too long, up too late. I know school's out for summer, but some of us have to work in the AM. And Aaron Mason Dixon asks, please tell me on a scale of 1 to 10 how happy you were to hear Sting would be in 2K15. And of course, this was not going to be a topic that we were going to pass up on the show because, as you all saw on our Facebook page, Donato, Matt here, announced his displeasure or brief disappointment with Sting not showing up, and people immediately, it was a full heel turn there for you, Matt.
It definitely was. I'll take the heat. I'll take the heat. I don't care. Bring it on. Let's go.
You got Lana heat there, bro.
I got a lot of heat. That's fine. That's fine. I'll take it. No, but seriously, a bunch of jabronis getting on me with their multiple exclamation points.
That's funny, but really, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy was I? I marked out a little bit.
I definitely,
I was probably up there at like a 9, 8 or 9. But
yeah, I marked out too. I was excited for it too. You know, I when I saw it, when the music, as soon as the violins hit and the orchestra hit, I knew exactly what it was going to be, and I got excited. And I already kind of had a feeling, you know, and I'm sure you did too, that he was going to be part of 2K15. Most people did know that. You know, my disappointment, so I can clarify, I liked the promo that they had for him. I thought it was really well done, really well executed, and I liked the last shot was boom, there's Sting's face and the orchestra turns around. I thought that was really, really well shot. Um, I was just, you know, I got excited. I was hoping that he would physically show up, and I feel like, you know, and somebody made the comment on our page that, you know, it's just like the Warrior addition to the WWE 2K14. No, it's not. Not at all. Not even close. Warrior was a huge staple in WWE. He was a multi-time champion. Sting has never been in a ring before. This would be one of the biggest debuts in WWE history. And I feel like them putting him in a promo wasn't bad, but it kind of took away from the momentum they could have had by having him debut as a surprise. Now people know he's a part of the WWE by him being in the game, so him returning is still going to be huge. I just feel like it could have been a little bit bigger. I would have loved to have been a surprise return. Oh my God, they're staying in an actual ring physically there. Never been in WWE before. You know, I was just a little disappointed. And that was basically it. I mean, it's awesome that he's in the game. It'd be sweet to play as him, but I wanted to see him. And I got excited.
Oh yeah, and that's to no fault, obviously. All of us want to see the Stinger, the icon, in the ring. That's ultimately what it's all about. You can talk about, oh, the guy's old, he's got no matches left in him. Buzz off, jackasses. Um, if
Yeah,
you're from the
freaking
90s, if you're in your age 20 year or up, and you have been a wrestling fan since you were a child, you know who Sting is, and you've never seen him in a WWE ring, and you want to. And if you say you don't, then you're a liar,
yep.
point blank. But here's my take on the whole situation. First off, a lot of people jumping the gun. I don't think, still technically, Sting has never been on um, WWE television, and people are going to argue, oh, the day they bought WCW and he was on the last episode of WCW. Yeah, he was on the network as Steve Borden for effing interview about the Warrior. That doesn't count. Sting, because guess what? If you remember a report that we did way back when about Sting, this was the Craigslist post. You saw that orchestra that they were looking for, and I believe that was a Sting lookalike, not Sting himself. I'm pretty sure.
Interesting. Huh.
And if you freeze the frame, I wish we had a picture. I felt like I could tell right away that it wasn't really him. I know he had the little freaking soul patch goatee like Sting, but they were notably looking for a double. Remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that now that you mentioned that. Yeah. Huh.
And
Interesting.
I mean
Good that you
that would
bring that up.
yeah, it'd be interesting to find out for sure. I could totally be wrong. Could have been him. I don't see him like flying out to a shoot though, just to do that little spot. You know what I mean? So it
Right.
makes sense, for him to have a double stand-in. Now, my whole argument here is we had heard back then, or way back when. I'm going to keep saying that cliche term, that WWE wants to kind of build Sting in because of the very young portion of the audience that has no clue who this guy is. It's kind of weird. It'd be weird. It would alienate some of their fans just to throw him into the scene. And half of the fan base is marking out, and the other half is like, whoa, who's this? Randy Orton's hot. I'm a soccer mom. Like, some people don't know who Sting is. As sad as it is, it's the truth. So I think that's what they're intending. The good thing here, and what I don't think we should lose sight on, is the fact that Sting was brought up, whether it was him in the Vignette or not. He was brought up on WWE TV, which can only mean one of two things. A, he signed, and he's coming. He's on the way. Or B, he's at least going to get in the Hall of Fame. That's what we saw with Warrior last year. If people want to draw a correlation to Warrior and Sting both being in the game, both getting that Legends contract, and both being inducted into the Hall of Fame. Now, I'm not 100% sure Sting goes into the Hall of Fame this year, but I'm saying that's the worst case scenario for us right now. There's no way they're going to introduce Sting and then like that's it. You're like, oh, look who's in the game.
Right.
But he's not coming to the show. I don't think it would happen.
No.
I don't think it's going to happen that way. But some people, and I'm not saying this is you, Matt, because I know you were like me. You were initially disappointed, but then I think you, after thinking about it, were kind of a little more understanding of the situation.
Exactly. Yeah.
There are some people out there right now that are throwing shit at the walls. Fuck WWE. They did it again. They effed it up. Blah, blah, blah. They screwed us all. And my advice is just settle down. Why so serious? Sting will be on the way, kids. And when that day comes, I will have my face painted and I will be beating people up with bats. That's all there is to it. So everybody just relax on the Sting front. The Viennette kicked ass. Chill out on Matt. He's a good guy at heart. I know he may have made a mistake, but he's not a hater. That term got thrown around at you.
What is that nonsense? A bunch of jabronis. They want me to turn heel. I'm getting pretty damn close.
Yeah, well, you ain't going to hit me in the back with a steel chair, jabroni. You see, the Auss feels like this. If the Auss was a jury, 9 times out of 10, he'd be a hung jury if you smell what the Auss is cooking.
And I quit rope break.
Anyways, aside from dropping the Rock lines here and there, let's cover briefly. Looks like we're going to go into a brief overtime here, but hey, that's what we're in the business of doing, is giving people more than their money's worth. You know what I mean? You pay $0, you get a free prize mailed to you. Why? Because rope break's the shit. This isn't bleachers. Yep. No bleachers are involved here. There's no cage side. Disqualifications, none of that BS. This is rope break for life. Screenshot this right here and make it your wallpaper. Live it. It's too sweet.
You don't have to do that. Don't do that.
You should.
I encourage you not.
Let's be honest. You should.
I encourage you not to.
All right. Anyways, let's talk about a real head scratcher here. And guys, please continue. Ask us your questions. Speak your mind over on the rope break wrestling on Twitter, and of course on our YouTube page right below. But I wanted to cover the Ric Flair appearance, which was an absolute head scratcher. You want to talk about a disappointment?
Yeah, right. I was thinking the same thing. My first reaction was, "What the hell was the point of that?" Like, what was he even?
At first, I'm saying, okay, Ric Flair's coming back. Nice little surprise. Cool to see. Those of you that have watched the show before may know I hate Ric Flair. And that's a discussion for a different day. But I was, excited to see him back. I do like seeing legends come back, regardless of who it is and who I like. But we've been hearing that he's possibly going to be Dolph Ziggler's manager, maybe the Miz's manager. What's he going to do? Don't tell me that he's going to be, like, stuck with Cena or Reigns here. Because I know they did it inadvertently, but, like, the whole thing, like, I thought Roman Reigns was coming out to interrupt him and get on the mic.
Yep.
And then, like, Flair just gets out of the ring and they play his music. Like, it made 0 sense. Like, it makes me think that he was just in the area and needed, like, some money for IHOP. So they're like, Flair, why don't you come by, woo, say some perverted shit to,
Renee.
Yeah, Renee Young, do your little strut, and then bounce. But I will say one thing. He did look pretty good today, didn't he? Looks like he may have lost some weight.
Yep. Yep. Didn't look too drunk. He looked pretty solid,
Look
pretty
tipsy.
coherent. A little tipsy, not flare drunk. He he looked normal. No, for us that would be we would look completely blasted, but it's Flair. His liver is. I don't even think he has a liver.
Yeah, well, let me say this. I'm
Iron liver.
actually just getting confirmation from Webster's Dictionary that the word drunk has actually been replaced by the word flare. So from now on, there's no such thing as getting drunk. It's getting flare. Dude, I was so flare last night. I have to
Woo!
tell you. Woo! That strut was looking terrible. I'm
I was gonna say on behalf of me and rule breakers everywhere, please don't ever do that again.
yeah. I'm sorry, guys. Listen, don't leave. Don't leave the show. Don't leave the show. Anyways, Aaron Mason. So I think we're in agreement that the Ric Flair thing was like kind of an effing weird occurrence. Interested
Yep.
to hear what you guys have to say about that. And Evan Dean says thoughts on a possible Seth Rollins injury tonight after a possible knee hyperextension. We'll get to that. That'll be the last topic we'll cover. Um, covering going back a little bit to the Sting thing here. Aaron Mason says, but don't you think him actually debuting in WWE would almost make it one last glory run before he retires? Yeah, of course I do.
Mhm.
I think that's what's gonna happen. All I'm saying is just wait, because they want to. It's no different than Bray Wyatt. Um, Bray Wyatt was a new character. He had vignettes placed every week to build him so people could get to know him before he debuted. People could either choose to get behind him or choose to say F this guy before he came out. That way when they come out, it's not like, who the fuck's this guy? That's what they're going to do with Sting, in my opinion, because, like I said, half the fan base doesn't really know him yet. I mean, really, unless you watch TNA, and if you watch TNA before with Sting on it, then that's kind of a tainted view of Sting, in my opinion.
No, I
But if
completely
you
agree.
didn't watch WCW in the late '90s, you don't really know Sting. So I think they're going to kind of build him, and I think today was a good step in doing that. I think he will have one last glory run, maybe 1, 2, maybe 3 matches, and then ride off into the sunset, and we'll see. And
I completely agree.
Rob Lucas says, I like the mention of 2 eras of Sting. We get the old school Warrior paint fluorescent color Sting and the dark grow version. That's pretty cool for those of you that would actually play with that fluorescent Sting. I'm not sure I would. I never really cared for that version of Sting.
Yep. I was
Always a
always a Crow
rival
guy.
Murphy, but like that was almost, and I don't want to say this, but I'm going to say it was almost like a Warrior ripoff, but it really wasn't. Um, it's just the face paint, and I know they were like buddies and shit, and they were actually started off as a tag team, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it is cool that they add in the 2 generations of Sting, like the old school. That is definitely cool, but yeah, I don't know that I would play as that either.
It is cool though that they give you the option. There's
Right.
no
Yep.
arguing that.
And no,
We're all
definitely
up
not.
for. I don't understand why they don't have basically every wrestler. Like, there's no reason why there shouldn't be every playable wrestler. That's what I'm waiting for, is a game where you can be effing anybody. I want to be
Yeah.
Jamie Noble. I want to be Lance Cade and Trevor Murdoch challenging for the tag titles. I want to be Deuce and Domino.
Absolutely. I actually
And
think they might have been in the game. They might have
I,
been.
in reality, I don't want to be any of those people, but I want to be able to have the choice. Okay? I want to be able
Exactly.
to scroll over them and go, who the hell wants to be him?
Right. I want to play. I want a game where I can play as Ricardo, not just have him as my manager.
There you
I think
go.
that's ridiculous, right?
Yeah, and when he reaches under the ring, he should grab a bucket. A
Exactly.
sweat or spit bucket, whatever that is.
Exactly.
Anyways, let's read a little spot here from Aaron Mason, going back to our bit on the Flair segment. Part of me kind of feels like Reigns' music hit too soon before Flair could even end the segment. Maybe they were all like, get him off the fucking stage.
Yeah.
Get him out of there. He's saying too much pervert shit to Renee.
Flair was taking up way too much time. He was only supposed to be on there for like a minute.
Yeah,
He was
right.
like 2 minutes over, and they're
If
like,
he
"What the
was
hell
only
is this
supposed to
guy
be
doing?"
if he was only supposed to be out there for a minute, they knew better than that because
Yeah.
it takes Flair a minute to strut out to the effing ring, at least. Sometimes that entrance can be borderline Undertaker. But Aaron suggests that maybe it was a backstage mistake. I think the big backstage mistake was having Flair come out at all in the first place. But that's besides the fact.
Wow, you're a hater.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Call me a hater on the
You're
Facebook
a
page, and I
you're
will
a hater.
cry. What happens is I will actually crawl up in my bed tonight and cry.
Yep.
Or Plan C is right behind me.
Plan C. See, you know that doesn't make sense to me because I thought Plan B was supposed to be Brock.
No, 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 no. Plan B is Rollins with the cash in.
Well, they
But
never
you're
really
right. But you're right.
they haven't said that yet though. They never clarified it. They
And
want you to think it's Rollins,
yeah. Well,
but
it's
Plan C could also be Cesaro. That's another thing I was thinking, but I feel like that's too obvious.
no. I don't think.
Plan
No, it's not
Plan
too. I
C.
think the too obvious thing is Brock Lesnar. I don't know why they would do that because I feel like everybody knows Brock Lesnar's coming back. Why even have Paul Heyman in there to interject? Kind of takes away from the element of surprise, unless it's Cesaro or it's Punk. Those two things would be surprising, at least in my view.
Right, I think that'd be good. And I don't feel like Cesaro. I don't know. He keeps obviously traditional booking says he keeps losing. He might probably be the guy to win. Um, but I don't know. I just get the feeling like for some reason Kofi's gonna win the Intercontinental Championship,
No,
and
there's
I
no
don't.
way.
I like I like Kofi, but he's already been IC champion and it didn't work out. I think he was IC champion twice, maybe more than that. But either way, none of the times worked out. They're
No,
not memorable. That's why I can't remember.
here's my bid on it. I think it's either going to be Bo Dallas, Cesaro, or The Miz. And right now, if you want my honest opinion, I think Cesaro has lost steam. And I'm a big Cesaro guy, but I think Miz should be the one to win at this point because
I'm with you on
I,
that.
right now he's fresh and he's come in, and people are interested in that whole Hollywood heel
Yeah,
gimmick.
if you, do you see, I don't know if you saw my post on Facebook today during the live tweet, but like I said this plenty of times. First of all, Miz as a heel is gold. He's a gold heel. He's great. And this gimmick that they gave him, I love it. I think it fits him perfectly. He's doing a great job with it. He's actually interesting me for the first time since his debut. I'm actually interested to see the Miz, and I think him as IC champion right now actually would work. I think that'd actually be pretty good. But then
Yeah,
you
I think that
gotta,
they could use him to then build somebody else up that they want to use. The moral of the story is Sheamus needs to lose his belt, um, and he also needs to lose his contract with the WWE, and he also needs to lose his stupid hair and chipmunk-like face. Um, anyways, what were we talking about?
I don't even remember. We'll just end the show with, we'll just continue ranting on Sheamus. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, well, before we do
Screw,
anything else,
screw
Aaron
Sheamus.
Mason says personally, I think Plan C is the poster to your left, not to your right. So, Aaron Mason, you really think it's gonna be CM Punk too, or are you
I
just
don't,
clowning us out?
geez,
Or
I
do
don't know.
you think it's gonna be The Rock in the middle? Yeah, right. Come on, seriously.
Yeah,
The
I don't
Rock is
know
gonna come out
though.
as Hercules.
Yeah, with the sword, you have the lion over. Yeah, it'll be great.
Damian
Long hair.
Sandow is gonna come out as Hercules. All right,
Can we?
well,
Can we? I just wanted to really quickly mention how stupid that segment was.
yeah,
Adam Rose just
I
needs to
agree. I didn't
disappear.
even want it was a sore subject for me because I feel like in the weeks past they've been doing a really good job with Sandow, and I
Yeah,
think
that
it
segment.
was extremely weak this week, but it was an effort to get stuff over. They're doing the advertising shit now. We've seen it before, like Santino did it that one day with like Twisted Tea.
Yeah, yep.
And now Sandow did it with, what was it, Sonic?
Yep, Sonic. Yep.
Yeah. Hashtag what a waste. For reference, Aaron Mason says Kingston is a 4-time IC champ. And for reference, Aaron Mason, that's 4 times too many, in my opinion. Let's go right. Oh, Jesus. Now you guys decide to start talking when we're about to wrap it up. I'm Passion. We'll cover this, and then we'll cover Rollins, and then we've got to wrap it up for today. We've got plenty more coming for you guys tomorrow. Where we'll be able to do an hour-long question cast. We'll do our battleground predictions as well. I'm Passion says, so is the World Heavyweight Championship retired now? I don't think so. I think they're just doing that as a sign of respect to Flair. Maybe Cena trying to still get over with those diehard fans. Like, oh, if I give the belt to Flair, there'll be a huge pop. Everybody will love me. And I'll be back to 2004 John Cena.
No, I don't think it's retired. I think, that was just kind of John Cena trying to get people to like him.
Yeah, so we'll leave that at that, and we can always talk more about that tomorrow, because I think one topic that I want to cover on tomorrow's show is brand extension and splitting up the belts. I want to talk in depth about that, so that's something that we'll definitely cover tomorrow. Yep. As Aaron Mason says, it's Punk. My Punk senses are tingling. Now, speaking of tingling, let's cover Seth Rollins. Looks like a potential knee injury. We're hearing hyperextension. How serious is this? In my opinion, not too serious. I think he'll end up being okay. I think he'll wrestle Ambrose. Worst case scenario, if he was injured, he could just as easily be off TV for the longest time and then come back and cash in or something like that. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's fine. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, I think he's fine. He didn't look too serious. Hyperextension. He's got a week, to heal up and rest up for Battleground. So yeah, I don't think it's that serious. I don't think it's anything to necessarily worry about. So yeah, I think he'll be fine. I think him and Ambrose will put on one hell of a match. And even if he's not 100%, I think he's the kind of guy that's going to push through it anyway. So I'm almost positive we'll definitely see him at Battleground.
Yep. And as we wrap it up here, Rob Lucas says, I got a question for you to discuss. When Bryan comes back, how soon do you throw him into the title picture? Does he get a quick run, or is he the new Ziggler that gets an icy run at best? Well, guess what, Rob? You're going to have to tune in tomorrow. Yeah, we're doing that. Cliffhanger.
The suspense.
Tomorrow evening, 7 p.m. Eastern time. The fuck is this? This isn't a holiday. Might as well be, though. You might as well mark it down on your calendar. Tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Eastern Standard Time. There will be no Easter egg hunt on the show. Tomorrow at 7 p.m. Myself, Matt, and maybe, hopefully, Alec will be able to tune in for an episode of Rope Break Radio. We will discuss all of your questions. Right now, we're actually going to head over to the Facebook page and post a sticky to the top of the page where you guys can post your questions for tomorrow's podcast in case you can't make the live show, but you still want to hear your question asked, because you can always watch these shows back over. But we will do that sticky. But in the meantime, Rob, you're going to have to wait until tomorrow on Rope Break Radio to hear us answer your questions. So, for Matt, for Alec, who could not make it on this grand evening, I'm AuSSy. And again, tune in tomorrow for another episode 13, I believe we're up to now. 13 of Rope Break Radio. It'll be live. It'll be live on YouTube and Google Hangouts. You will have an opportunity to get on the Hangout publicly, live with us, to ask your question and have it answered face-to-face, 1-on-2, with the great one and the jabroni Matt himself.
I'm not coming.
Yeah, you
I'm
will.
not coming.
You will
I'm not
have the
coming.
unique opportunity. Listen, it's real simple. Not only do we give shit away for free, but I can guarantee you there's nobody else out there doing this right now.
Nope.
This isn't rope break A and V where we just, I have my kitten crawling around in the back and we just talk a bunch of gibberish and shit. No. We always make sure that you guys' voice gets heard. We want you tuning in. We want your voice to coincide with ours because, again, what do I always say, Matt? We don't propose to be any bigger than any of you guys. We're
Yep.
just average Joe, ordinary fans. As you can see by the ridiculous amount of stupid action figures I have in the back here. So, without dragging this on any longer, tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern, a 1-hour episode of Rope Break Radio. Shit, we might even give something away. So, tell your kids, tell your wives. If anything, they want to see this. I'm like Randy Orton to soccer moms. But tomorrow, Rope Break
What
Radio.
did I say last week about that? What did I say?
It
Huh?
doesn't matter what you said.
I said
Tomorrow, 7 p.m., Matt, AuSSy, maybe Alec, Rope Breakers for Life, Rope Break Radio, episode 13. We answer your questions. We'll do a giveaway, and we'll give our battleground predictions. Until then, is cooking. Peace out, jabronis.
see you guys
Sleep
later.
tight.